the world is on edge tonight. As diplomats scramble to talk, battlefields are erupting. In the last 24 hours, Russia has just launched the single largest aerial barrage of the entire Ukraine war, a staggering its number of drones and missiles unleashed in one overwhelming wave. Tonight, conflicts are boiling over, and frantic diplomacy is trying to keep up. We're going to break down the two major stories driving the headlines on this. July 9th, 2025. First to Ukraine, where a shocking escalation in the air war marks a dangerous new chapter. Then, we head to the Middle East, where a desperate push for a ceasefire in Gaza is being threatened by a surge of violence in the Red Sea. Let's get straight to it. Ukraine war, a paradox of fire and stalemate. The skies over Ukraine today were torn apart by an unprecedented assault. Russia unleashed its largest single aerial attack of the entire war, launching a swarm of over 741 drones and missiles in one massive wave. Ukrainian officials say the western city of Lutsk, key logistics hub for Western aid near the Polish border, took the brunt of the attack. This massive show of force comes as peace talks are frozen. And shortly after the U.S. announced that vital weapons shipments to Kyiv would resume, it feels like a clear and violent message from the Kremlin. But here's the paradox. For all the fury in the air, the fight on the ground tells a very different story. Russian territorial gains have slowed to a crawl, suggests that while Moscow can still inflict immense damage from afar, its ability to actually take and hold ground is meeting fierce Ukrainian resistance. So you have this massive escalation in the air, happening at the very same time the front lines are grinding to a halt. Middle East. A push for peace under a shadow of war. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, there's a frantic diplomatic push for peace in Gaza. American diplomats are working to broker a deal for a ceasefire and hostage release, with some hope that a 60-day pause in the fighting could be agreed to soon. But the talks are incredibly fragile. Hamas is demanding a permanent end to the war, and a complete Israeli withdrawal, a major sticking point. All of this is unfolding against a backdrop of sheer devastation. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza is catastrophic, with the number of Palestinians killed in the conflict now reportedly topping 45,000. And just as these talks reach a critical stage, the region is being rocked by new violence. After a period of relative quiet, Yemen's Houthi rebels have dramatically ramped up their attacks on ships in the Red Sea. They've launched a new wave of assaults on commercial vessels, vowing to continue until the war in Gaza stops. This is a direct challenge, tying the security of one of the world's most important shipping lanes to the Gaza conflict and threatening to drag the entire region into a wider war. These events, thousands of miles apart, are deeply connected and will send shockwaves across the globe. If you want to stay ahead of the story and get clear, daily updates, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications. So, to recap tonight's top stories, a record-breaking aerial assault on Ukraine signals a dangerous new phase in the war, even as Russia's ground offensive stalls. And a desperate diplomatic push for a ceasefire in Gaza is being undermined by a new wave of attacks in the Red Sea. These are combustible situations, where one spark could ignite something much bigger. The question is whether diplomacy can move faster than the violence. That's the world tonight. We'll be back tomorrow to help you make sense of it. Stay informed.